Payback. Let's get into it. Payback is from 1999. It lasts 1 hour 41 minutes. It stars Mel Gibson, Maria Bello, and Lucy Liu. And everything is blue. Everything does have a blue tinge. It's like the anti-Matrix. Yeah, I suppose everything was green in that. It's to give that noir feel. Looks cool. It certainly does. It's a good looking movie. What are these clothes though that he told there? Well, that's just what people wore at the turn of the century. Turn of the century? That sounds like you're a million years old. Well, at the turn of the century, actually what Mel Gibson wears in this movie is pretty much everything that I wore between the years 1999 and 2015 probably. You're out of touch. You're out of time. The movie opens with Mel Gibson's character Porter being brought back from the dead, basically. Yeah, he's been shot in the dark, and he's in some dodgy dark alley doctor surgery, and the doctor's healing up, and the doctor's taking bullets out on and pouring whiskey on him. NHS, it's not, no.
Thank you, Boris!
There are some voiceovers in this movie from Mel Gibson, from Porter, narrating what's happened, and we find out he has been shot, he's been left for dead, and someone has stolen $70,000 from him. Yet, his destiny, it actually was
My best friend.
So Porter spends a bit of time healing up, and then he goes out in the street, and he's a bit of a lowlife. He is a bit of a criminal. He pickpockets a guy, and yeah, and the guy looks just enough like him that he can use his ID, so he goes on a standing street with his credit cards. Cha-ching. Buys some new clothes, gets a delicious meal, buys a gun, has a great day. He even steals from the homeless guy. Yeah, the homeless guy's pretending to be blind and unable to walk. So Porter's an angry man. He's looking for his money. He's looking for the people who shot him and left him for dead. Yeah, turns out it's his destiny and his wife. Yeah, not his best mate's wife. Porter's wife. Yeah, so he goes back to his own house, his little apartment, and his wife is there. And he kicks in the door, and she's addicted to drugs now. Yeah. So he doesn't do anything to her. He decides to sleep there for the night, and he's going to wait for his friend to show up. They both crash out in the bed, but in the morning when Porter wakes up, his wife has overdosed and she is dead. Yeah. He doesn't seem that cut up about it, but she left him for dead, I suppose. We get a little flashback, we see what actually happened. Porter and his best friend and business partner Val Resnick are going to rob a Hong Kong businessman. Yeah, he's in a limousine and he's got a case, and in the case must be thousands of dollars, they think. So they decide, let's rob him. So they realise the guy's security, his armed guards aren't wearing seatbelts, so they just drive straight first into that car. And Porter and Val come out pretty much unscathed. The others are all unconscious. They steal the suitcase, and it's got $140,000 in it. And then Porter's wife turns up. She's a getaway driver, so they all flee. Back at the hideout, they realise it's $140,000. Porter is over the moon. He's like, that's $70,000 for me, $70,000 for you, Val.
Ooh, halvesies!
But Val's not happy. No, he's like, oh, it needs to do more than that. Should you double that? This is not enough money. Greedy. At this point, Val pulls a gun on Porter and he says, I'm just taking all this money. Don't trust anyone, basically. Yeah, and then Porter's wife shoots Porter in the back, like 3 times. And then Val kicks him in the face and they leave him for dead.
You're my best friend.
Back to the present, Porter is woken up by a knock at the door. This is when he finds his wife has OD'd. And he answers the door and it's a little local dealer. Yeah, he's trying to sell some illegal substances. Porter basically brings him in, bullies him into giving up some information. He deserves it. Yeah.
He's a punk.
So Porter finds out the name of a higher up dealer. He's also a bookie. He runs illegal card games, things like that. Yeah. He goes out to look for him and he finds him instantly. Yeah. So he finds him running a card game with a few cops.
Crooked cops.
And they take a very strong interest in this Porter character. The bookie's name is Arthur Stegman. Stegman doesn't actually know where Val Resnick is, but Porter knows that he'll see him, so he says, tell Val Resnick Porter is back and he wants his money. Yeah. So, later, Stegman and Val do meet up, and then Stegman says, Val, this guy is looking for you, some guy called Porter. And Val says, oh, he's a friend of Porter's? And he basically goes ballistic when he finds out Porter is back and he wants his money.
It's my money.
Two detectives from the card game are called Detectives Hicks and Leary, and they're kind of tailing Porter from now on. They're very interested in him. Yeah. Later that day, you see Val in his apartment, and he's getting a visit from his girlfriend. I don't know if she's an escort or if she's his girlfriend, but it's Lucy Liu. From Charlie's Angels. Yeah. She comes in and instantly starts beating him up. Yeah. Pearl and Val beat each other up. This is kind of how they get off. Yep. Okay. And later that night while they're asleep, they wake up and Porter is standing over the bed holding a gun. Yeah. So he's like, Val, get any nunny. Get it, Val. Get it, Val. Val, get any nunny. Right. And Val says, I'll get it to you tomorrow, I promise. Just don't shoot me. And Porter's about to date that, but then Terrell is like, I'll do it.
Please, allow me.
So she dates a nut. And Porter leaves, quite happy. They're ready to meet the next day, but when they meet the next day, it's a setup, because Pearl is friends with the Hong Kong gang that Val and Porter robbed at the start of the movie. Yeah, and she says it was all Porter's fault. It was his idea. So Porter is smashed into by a car full of Hong Kong guys, and they're about to cut off his willy. Yeah, they're going to cut off his genitals. But then Hicks and Leary appear with the sirens blasting, so the Hong Kong guys and Lucy Liu and Val all rush off. Yeah. It turns out Hicks and Leary actually want the money that Porter's after. So they kind of force him into, they say, well, we'll either arrest you or shoot you if you don't go and get the money back from wherever it is and give it to us.
Both great options.
It turns out Val is actually working for a company, an organisation called The Outfit. Yeah, it's like a big crime organisation. Scary stuff. Yeah, he owed them $130,000. So at the start of the movie, when they robbed the Hong Kong businessman and they took $140,000 and they were going to split it 50-50, he needed $130,000 of it. Yeah, so instead of just saying that, he tried to kill his best friend. Yeah.
That's going a bit too far, isn't it?
It's this shady organisation, The Outfit, that have the money. So, Porter manages to get inside. Yeah, he gets help from an old friend. Oh yeah, he goes to meet an old friend, Rosie. This is Maria Bello. Yeah, and she's an escort. They've known each other for years as friends. Yeah, there's always been something between them. So she helps him, and we meet Rosie's dog, who is a big, vicious, mean dog. Yeah, and it's called Porter. She helps him discover where the outfit is. He goes in, has a meeting with what seems to be the boss, Carter. So he's invited into Carter's office. He knocks out the two security guards standing by instantly. And then he and Carter have a little discussion. Well, Val did give us $130,000, but I can't give it to you back because I've already given it to my boss. Yeah, I thought he is the boss, nan. Yes, would that? But it turns out he's got a boss. So Carter says, phone your boss. Get it on speakerphone. So he does, and the boss is Kristofferson. Huh? What's that? That's not a name. It is Kristofferson. That's like Ned being called Ned. Ned Arthurson? No, it's not right. Anyway, Kristofferson is the actual crime lord, the actual boss of the outfit. And his name is Bronson. Yeah. And he's on the turn, and while he's talking to Porter and Carter, he's also speaking to his son at home. And it's his son's like 21st birthday or something. And he's got on a Ferrari or something like that. So now Porter knows he has a son. And Porter says, listen, Bronson, are you going to give me my money back? or am I going to kill Carter here? Yeah. And Branson's like, no, I'm not giving you $130,000. And all the way through the movie, everyone's saying, Porter, you want this $130,000. This $130,000, let it go, you've lost it. $130,000 is stolen from Porter. And he keeps correcting them and saying, only want $70,000. That's just my cut. Which is fair, yeah. Anyway, Bronson says, nope, I'm not giving you the money. So Porter shoots Carter dead. He did say he would. Now, just before this, Porter was seeing Rosie, and he leaves her apartment and goes down the stairs, and the elevator door opens while he's going down the stairs, so he just misses whoever's coming out. And who is coming out is Val, and Val bursts into Rosie's apartment, and he's like, right, you, where is he? And she says, are you looking for Porter? He's in the bedroom. Yeah, and it's Porter the dog she needs, and Porter the dog jumps and bites Val.
Good dog.
That then Val shoots it. Yeah, he does. And then he starts to beat up Rosie, and he says he's going to do things to her, and then he's going to kill her. Yeah, but then the door bursts open, and Porter's there. He's that because he forgot his cigarettes. And he shoots Val in the hand, and then in the leg, and then that's how he and Rosie get the address of the outfit. That's right, so it is. Yeah, and then he puts a cushion over Val's head and shoots him. Good day, Val. Now, the other thing that happens just before Porter meets Carter is, oh, this is great, right, so Hicks and Leary had driven him there because they want the money. So he said to them, listen, I'll be thrist when I go in, so can you hold my gun? So Hicks and Leary take the gun and hold it for Porter. When he comes back out, he says, right, I'll take my gun back, please. They take the bullets out it. Yeah, but then he holds it in the newspaper to hide it. That's his excuse. And then he goes back to where Val's body is. Yeah, and he puts the gun down beside it. And he's also stolen one of their police badges. And he leaves that beside Val's body. Now the gun and the police badge, both with Hicks and Leary's fingerprints on them. They're there beside a murdered body.
Clever boy.
But while they were on speakerphone, Porter heard that Bronson's son Johnny, whose birthday it is, he's going to be at this big fight tonight. So he and Rosie wait outside. Yeah, Rosie's all done up, looking nice, and she basically says, I'm your dirty present, Johnny. And she takes him in the back of the limousine, and Porter is the driver. They're kidnapping him. Happy birthday. So this is Porter's safety net. He knows he won't be killed while he and Rosie are the only people who know the location of Johnny. So he arranges a meeting face to face with Bronson so he can get his cash. Bronson says he's going to do all sorts of things to him. He's going to torture him. He's going to keep him alive for 3 days in constant agony. He's going to give him a blood transfusion to keep him alive so he can feel pain forever. That cruel.
That's mean, man.
He's really angry. But there are a few things he needs to tie up before he goes to meet Bronson. Yeah, so first of all, there are none of the outfit guys falling in. Yeah, it turns out they've been in his apartment, these henchmen for Bronson. They've rigged his bed to explode. Yeah, this huge don under his bed. And it's rigged so that when he answers his phone, because it's a landline back then.
In the old days?
When he answers his phone, the bomb will go off, exploding the whole apartment, killing anyone inside. Pretty sneaky. But Porter figures this out, and he goes down and he sees the car full of Bronson's henchmen, and he gets behind them. He cuts the fuel line under the car, stands behind them so they can see him. He lights up a cigarette. Yeah, and they're like, what's he doing? There he's there. And then he drops his cigarette, and it starts a fire and blows up the car. Good day, Bronson, then. He's still got the crooked cops to deal with. Yeah, and now they've got a new pal. They're also hanging around with the little dickie, Stegman. Yeah, that's right. So Stegman and his bodyguard basically are in a car. Yeah, they're in like an old taxi, and the cops are in their car. And when Porter leaves his apartment, they all start to follow him. Yeah, the police The crooked cops are about to follow him first, but then they are pulled up by IA, Internal Affairs.
Internal Affairs investigation?
Because a gun with their fingerprints and their badge were found next to a dead body. Good day, cops. That's them out of the picture. The bookie and his right-hand man drive up beside Porter though, force him into the car and hold him at gunpoint, and they say, well, that's the cops gone, so I guess we'll just take the whole $130,000 when you get it back. Yeah, that. Porter just takes the gun off the little dickie. It's really funny. It's pretty funny. And he's like, well, this plan didn't work, did it? And then his bodyguard in the front of the car takes out his shotgun, he's like, let him go. Don't shoot him, give him the gun back. And just then the Hong Kong guys show up with Lucy Liu hanging out the passenger side window, and there's about 5 of them. Yeah, this is really cool. So they roll up, and they're like, there's Porter in that car, shoot them! And the Hong Kong guys open fire. Porter uses Stegman as a human shield. He and his bodyguard get shot full of bullets, they're out of the game. So Porter jumps out of the car, and this is really cool. He goes under the car, he goes around the car, he goes over the car, he goes behind the car, he goes beside the car. He blasts every single person in the Hong Kong gang. Except Lucy Liu.
Hubba, hubba, hubba.
So she's the only one left standing. But her gun's empty, and luckily for her, so is Porter's. They're having a bit of a face-off, but then 2 big thugs come along. Yeah, these guys work directly for Brunson, and they knock out Porter, and then they knock out Terrell. So that's the last we see of her as well, because she's just unconscious in a car full of dead bodies. Yep.
She's gone to jail.
Next thing we see is Porter tied to a chair. Bronson and some of his men are surrounding him, and they've got Porter's feet out, yeah, in a big hammer, and they start to break his toes. Ouch. They break 2 of his toes, and then they're like, after this it's the shins, then the knees, and then you know what comes next. His dolls, yeah. Porter gives up the address of where Johnny is being held. We see Johnny handcuffed to a radiator. He's been guarded by Porter the dog and Rosie, who are all waiting for Porter the man to return. With Nanny. Well, yeah, that'd be a bonus. But alive is what they really want. So Bronson and his goons go to the address that Porter gave them. They take Porter for insurance. They tie him up and stick him in the trunk, the boot of the car. Head up the stairs. Yeah, and Porter makes his way out of the boot. He manages to get out. He dusts through the seats and manages to escape. Just in time, because Bronson kicks in the door. He and his thugs go inside the apartment, and it's empty. It turns out Rosie, Johnny and Porter the dog, who wasn't killed by the way, he's just injured earlier. That's right. Well, it turns out they're in another apartment in another building. Yeah. So Bronson is in Porter's apartment. He's looking around like, where the hell's my son? And then the phone rings. Bronson picks up the phone and it's connected to the dead Dom. Porter says,
You were right not to trust me.
yeah, and then ding! The whole apartment explodes, killing them all. Rosie and Porter the dog hear the explosion. They go out, they leave Johnny tied to the radiator, which is a little bit harsh. They go out to meet Porter on the street. They all get in the car and they find that Bronson had brought the money, $130,000. And they drive off to start a new life together in Canada. She'll start being an escort if he starts killing people. You'll see how it works out. So that's Payback from 1999. I loved this. I thought it was pretty cool. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty amazing. In fact, I think I saw this when it first came out and I didn't really like it. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe you're just stupid. Hit like, hit subscribe. Kristofferson. That's made up.